How is it going, Bears fans? Welcome back to another episode of Beared Down Uncut, the show where we talk everything Bears every day of the week. Today, in episode number 129 of Uncut, we are back talking Allen Robinson, who Ian Rapoport of NFL Network said earlier this week is expected to, or he expects to get franchise tagged by the March 9th deadline. We're going to be discussing whether or not Robinson will play on this tag, whether or not the Bears are using the tag properly, and what the Bears could get out of a trade if Robinson refused to play. Welcome back to the show, guys. Feels good to be back doing daily uploads. I would like to say before we get more into this one, do us a favor, subscribe, or like whatever platform you're listening on. Do us a favor, show us some support, because we're going to keep coming back to you guys every day of the week with Bears content. I am your host, Chris Malpe. Today, I am joined on the right of me by my co-host, Jaylen McClinton. Jaylen, how's it going? Happy Saturday. What are you doing, man?
Hey, just enjoying my weekend. I got a buddy that came from out of town. I ain't seen him in 2 years, so gonna enjoy the day with him while he's in town. So that's what I'm gonna be doing for the rest of the day. But other than that, like I said, rumors on Twitter are still going crazy right now. So I'm trying to pay attention to that. But that's about it.
Yeah, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson. There's a lot of videos to come about this whole quarterback situation. But we're taking a step back today to talk about Allen Robinson. Pretty chill weekend for me too. Just hanging out in my fraternity, not doing too much, and getting back into the Bears because things are definitely starting to get interesting. But before we get into this video, I would like to say we do have a message from our sponsors today, Manscaped.
How's it going, everybody? Manscaped hooked me up with a bunch of tools and formulations from their Perfect Package 3.0 kit. I know we all have stories of trying to shave down there and perhaps nicking ourselves and bleeding, and it's not very fun, but not to worry with Manscaped. Manscaped has created the best ball hair trimmer ever, the Lawnmower 3.0. Their third-generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. I now feel confident shaving my boys. In addition, this trimmer comes with an LED light for a more precise shave and is waterproof to make your shower shave clean and easy. And don't use the same trimmer you use on your face as your balls. That's just nasty. The Lawnmower 3.0 comes inside their brand new Perfect Package 3.0, which comes with everything you need to keep trimmed, cut-free, and smelling nice down there. The Manscaped Perfect Package 3.0 also includes the Crop Preserver, an anti-chafing ball deodorant and moisturizer. You already put deodorant on your armpits. Why are you not putting deodorant on the smelliest part of your body? And yes, your balls stink. Speaking of which, I am also thankful for their Crop Reviver. This product, along with the Crop Preserver, keeps your balls from sweating, smelling, and sticking. Manscaped also threw in 2 free gifts into their Perfect Package, one being a pair of high-performance Manscaped boxer briefs that'll keep your junk feeling fresh all day, and a travel shed bag to store all of your grooming goodies. Trim that junk of yours. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code BD20 at manscaped.com. You'll see it on the screen right now. Your balls will thank you. Once again, that's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code BD20. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. Now let's get back into the video.
All right, guys, once again, Manscaped, thank you so much for sponsoring us today and throughout the month of March. Use code BD20 for free shipping and 20% off at manscaped.com. So, Jaylen, let's hop right into this. Allen Robinson, this has obviously been the talk of the town the entire 2020 season and into this offseason, but earlier this week, about 4 days ago, Ian Rapoport went on NFL Live and said that he expects that it's trending that the Bears will franchise tag Allen Robinson by the March 9th deadline, obviously on Tuesday. So I want to ask you, just to start this off, I mean, if this happens as it is expected to by Tuesday, I mean, I think it's a pretty simple question to answer, but do you think the Bears are going the right way with this one? Do you think they're using that franchise tag properly?
Off the top of my head, especially this year, I don't really think it's anybody else that deserving of a franchise tag.
Maybe Cairo Santos, but I think they'd be able to get a deal done with him.
I don't think he's gonna take a franchise tag to get a deal done with him. So, he's the only person that really needs it on this roster, and he definitely deserves it. I know it's Pace, or he said him and Pace haven't contacted since or been in contact since the season's been over. And for one, I don't know why that was the case, but right now we know that Pace is aggressively trying to find a quarterback, for our team. So that I know that's one of the main reasons why he's probably hasn't talked to him in like the last couple of weeks. But um, you know, like Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace have said multiple times that he's one of our good players, and we want to pay our good players, and so I definitely expect him to get that franchise tag. I know he doesn't really want it. He's been on Twitter saying
Yep.
he doesn't like the franchise tag, but at this point, that's what it has to come to. Hopefully, we can. I didn't want it to come like this because like you said, he discussed he doesn't really like the franchise tag, but hopefully this will help us come to a contract agreement later on.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Bears are using the franchise tag properly, and it's unfortunate that it came to this point. It really shows you that a general manager, their actions before and after really matter with what happens in an NFL franchise. I mean, you take a look at a couple of months ago before the season started, if the Bears signed Allen Robinson to an extension back then, they probably could have gotten him for 16, 17, 18 million a year. Then Keenan Allen gets his deal, Robert Woods gets his deal, Cooper
Yeah.
Kupp gets his deal, and that spikes up the price to probably now above $20 million. So
And
while
I also think, sorry to cut you off. I also think it's about the cap,
Yeah.
cap space,
Yeah.
because of COVID and stuff like that. So I don't.
Yeah,
think
cap space decreasing should be interesting. I know there's going to be some surprise cuts. I think throughout the next week
Yeah.
or so, especially with the Bears who are looking to make a run at a big quarterback that's going to be hopefully making a lot of money. Regardless, the Bears are going to need money to work on the offense this offseason. Robinson's definitely a big part of it. So I think they're using this franchise tag perfectly. And I don't know if Robinson will essentially be happy. I think he'll be making around $16.4 million on the tag from what I read this year. Obviously not the dollar amount he deserves. We're going to talk about later on whether or not he'll play on the tag. Actually, we're going to talk about that right now. I think we can lock him up for another year. The question just comes down to whether or not he'll play or he'll pull one of those standoffs that we've seen in the past with guys like Le'Veon Bell, with guys like Antonio Brown who didn't want to play, and other guys throughout the league. So it should be interesting to see how this one plays out. Jaylen, as we know, the entire 2020 season was very standoffish between Robinson and the franchise. You mentioned earlier his Twitter, liking tweets about going to other teams, liking tweets about the Bears being a bad franchise, but he was still able to put down a really nice 2020 season, 102 receptions, 1,250 receiving yards, and 6 touchdowns. He's an incredibly important piece on this team, and it seems like it's trending towards the franchise tag. So I want to ask you, do you think he will still play on the tag in 2021 for the Bears, or do you think he'll try and force himself out of this situation?
I'm gonna say he's gonna play on the tag with the Bears. Like I said, I don't think during when the season starts in August, if that starts on time, that he will still be on a franchise tag. I think he'll be on a contract extension. So I'm gonna definitely say for right now, when the season comes, he won't be on a franchise tag. He'll be on a regular contract. So, but at this point, who knows? He's like Twitter's about him being tied and being traded to the Jets for Sam Darnold in the 34th overall pick and stuff like that. So, I get why he's doing it. A lot of Bears fans don't like that, but when it comes to a point where he's a human, he wants financial stability for him and his family, and all he's trying to do is get that. So. Hopefully, like I said, it shouldn't have to come to this point, but Pace gives him the money he definitely deserves.
Yeah, and it should be interesting as well to see if the Bears go to the transition tag route here, because we saw that happen a couple of years ago with Al Fuller. The Bears matched the offer. I would be a little bit weary about that because I think some team would go over the top, specifically thinking about teams in the NFC East like the Washington football team, the New York Giants, teams out there that need some receivers. So I think they would be willing to offer the $22, $23 million, probably a very nice contract for Robinson. So I think you got to go franchise tag here. I also think depending on what the Bears do at quarterback, that could definitely help sweeten this up for Robinson playing another year. So I think if the Bears can nail down the quarterback acquisition that they want to get, as likely or unlikely as it seems right now, I do think Robinson will play in 2021 on the Chicago Bears if he gets franchise tag. And I got to be honest with you, I thought it was going to happen from the beginning. Hearing Robinson this offseason discuss, I'm open to everything on the table, including a return to the Bears, makes me seem hopeful that he will play another season in Chicago. And as you mentioned, Jaylen, if the Bears don't pay up in 2021, if they do franchise tag him this year, then he probably deserves to go elsewhere. But they're going to have another year to get something done, pay the man, keep him in Chicago, especially if you can get a good quarterback to put him around. You need to have weapons, regardless of who's at the quarterback position. We saw Deshaun Watson struggle this year when a lot of his weapons went down, and he only had guys like Kiki Cutie when he came to Chicago. So it's going to be really important that the Bears can keep their weapons around for whoever the quarterback is in Chicago. And Robinson is definitely the number one guy on offense. So keeping him around, getting him a long-term deal done eventually if they franchise tag him this year and he's willing to stick around would surely be nice. But let's talk about the more negative side on this for a little bit, Jaylen, before we close this one off, because obviously with how everything went with Robinson in 2020 and 2021, I think we could easily foresee a situation where we see him try and force his way out of Chicago. So if the Bears end up tagging and trading Robinson, Jaylen, what compensation do you think the Bears could get from another team? You know, the Baltimore Ravens is an interesting one because you could figure Orlando Brown could be in that trade. Also, we've seen other teams trade marquee wide receivers away in the past, like the Minnesota Vikings trading Stephon Diggs, getting a first-round pick back for him. You would hope the Bears could get a pick in the first 2 rounds for Robinson, but if they ended up tagging and trading him and Robinson wanted to move on, what type of compensation do you think the Bears could get back for him?
Now, I haven't really thought about this because I haven't seen a situation.
You're an optimist. You don't like to think about
I'm a realist. I'm very realistic. But to be honest, I think we can get a late first round pick out, for him. I don't know off the top of my head if the Ravens have their first round pick. I'm pretty sure they do. So a team like that, I know the Jets have the Rams pick, which is a late pick since the Rams made the playoffs. So I think we can get a first round pick from the Jets, the Ravens, other wide receiver needed teams.
Do you think it should be a second round pick or better if the Bears do try and trade him?
Oh yeah, it definitely should be a second round pick or better. Allen Robinson has produced back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. I know he doesn't have the accolades, like he's only a one-time Pro Bowler. He's not an all-pro type of receiver, but Stephon Diggs, I think if you compare the numbers from last year, they were when he was on the Vikings to this year, I think it's very similar. And he wasn't an all-pro, or he wasn't even a Pro Bowler. He didn't make his first Pro Bowl till this year. So I definitely think we can get a first-round pick out of him, late first-round pick. But realistically, I definitely think we can get a high second, and that's only if we trade him.
Yeah, it's interesting because the Ravens do have the 27th overall pick in the first round, so that's exactly that bread and that. I guess that
Miami too. They have 3 first-round picks in this year's draft.
Yeah, so, and I think a late first-round pick would be bread and butter, ideally, if you did move on for Robinson, because that would give the Bears, depending on what they do at quarterback, either a first-round pick that would be important, or 2 first-round picks so they could go maybe quarterback as well as wide receiver, or they could look to package them both to be able to move up. So it would give the Bears a lot of options, but I got to agree with you. Ideally, I think we would like to see Robinson back in Chicago and hope that would happen if the franchise tag is applied. I'm holding out hope because of what he said about him being open to anything. So I hope that the Bears would be able to work that out. On Tuesday. I'm sure we'll be back on Tuesday making a video about Allen Robinson yet again. Actually, regardless, we'll be making a video about Allen Robinson on Tuesday because we're going to be discussing either how he was franchise tagged or how he wasn't franchise tagged. So a lot to come with this situation in the next couple of days, and we will definitely keep you guys updated here. So be sure to drop a like on this video, subscribe, follow on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts if you want Bears content every day of the week. Thank you guys so much for tuning into episode number 129 of Uncut. If you would like more content from us, more off-season content, NFL draft content, head over to our website, beareddown.com. We're posting columns, articles, and blogs each and every day to keep you guys posted on what is going on with the Bears this offseason. If you would like to find the podcast on social media, you can head to @BearedDown on Instagram and Twitter. It's where we do our bi-monthly giveaways. You can see sneak peeks of guests we are having on. You can also help us decide some content for some videos, see what we're doing early. So be sure to go check us out on social media for sure. And finally, you can find the links to all of our social media pages down in the description, myself as well as Jaylen. We do some great stuff on Instagram and Twitter. You can see our thoughts on the entire National Football League and the entirety of Chicago and professional sports. It's another great way to interact with us. So be sure to go follow us both on social media. I definitely suggest it. Jaylen McClinton, Allen Robinson has, man, it's been a long time coming for him, but it seems like we're finally going to get some news in these next 72 hours. So any last words before we close this one off?
Bear down, stay safe, and that's about it.
Yeah, I guess if I had any last words to say, I would just say I really hope the Bears are serious about these big name quarterbacks, and if not, hopefully they would trade up in the NFL draft. You're going to need a good quarterback in town if you want to convince Allen Robinson to stay. And with the money already being kind of a bidding war and kind of being at a cold war with Ryan Pace, I think bringing in a marquee quarterback, possibly a top 10 draft pick if they decide to go that route, could definitely convince Robinson to stay. The Bears have to get the quarterback position right because I know Robinson has surely been a little bit upset with the quarterback play ever since he's gotten to Chicago outside of that 2018 year. So now it's time to get it right. And if the Bears can fit one piece of the puzzle in, hopefully they can fit another in right next to it. Guys, once again, thank you so much for tuning in. It's been a pleasure to be your host. Once again, my name is Chris Malpe. And as always, do us a favor and stay safe and bear down. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.